Hey guys, it's Kelsey. I'm back with another scrapbooking process video. Happy International Scrapbooking Day weekend, and this is my first challenge. So I'm playing along with Scrapbook Nerd. We had to scrap lift this layout from Rachel, and I really liked the kind of crooked layer that everything's kind of piled on top of. I really liked that design. So I'm going to dive in. I'm using a Recollections paper pad called Harvest Meadow, and I love this paper pad. Haven't used it in a while, so I thought it would be a really good paper pad for these two photos of Marcus that he sent me when he was mountain biking. So I'm starting out with this floral brown. I really wanted those earthy tones to kind of tie back to the pictures, and then I'm breaking it up with this kind of lighter tone-on-tone stripe. And I'm really going to try to just use scraps for the rest of the layering, but I'm really focusing on the original layout to create that kind of crooked design. I really like the original layout is an 8.5 by 11, which is great. I play along with Stretch to Sketch pretty much every month, and a lot of the times I like to shrink my layouts down to 8.5 by 11. So I really like this as a 12 by 12 scrapper, being able to do the opposite and kind of pull this 8.5 and 11 by 11 into a 12 by 12. So I'm starting out by just trimming this smaller layer that's going to be the crooked layer. And I'm kind of liking that it's stripes. It'll kind of accentuate that it is crooked. I know this drives some people crazy, but I think it adds a lot of interest to the page, having a crooked layer like this. Especially when it's not like super obvious. So I did trim these two photos down to 4 by 4. I'm going to stick them together, and I'm going to follow that original layout and have them in the lower right hand quadrant. And then I'm just thinking to myself, I'll have layers around the photos and I'll do some form of embellishment in the upper left hand corner. So other than that, I kind of just go off on my own to finish the layout. I really like the concept for this challenge because they really wanted to see how everyone took the same layout and scrap lifted it in different ways. So that's a lot of fun. I'm really interested to know what challenges you guys are playing along with this weekend. I'm out looking for challenges, and this was the first one I came across, was the Scrapbook Nerds group on Facebook. And so far they have 8 posted. I don't know if it'll just stay those 8. That's plenty to keep me busy. But I'm really wanting to look around with different groups because the normal groups I play with aren't participating this year. So I want to kind of find some other groups to play along with. So I'm going to start out by piecing together my background. I went ahead and gutted a section of the brown floral. I wasn't sure if I was going to want to use that in the layers around my photo. A lot of the times I like using that background layer within the photo layers just to tie it all together. So I gutted a piece just in case I wanted to use it, and then I didn't end up using it, which is fine. But now I'm just going to glue the crooked layer down, and then I'll start building my layout from there. You'll kind of see me go back and forth. I'm kind of trying to decide if I want my layers and my photos in line with the crooked layer so that it's in line with these horizontal lines going across the page, or if I want to keep my photos perpendicular to the actual background 12 by 12. So you'll see me kind of go back and forth on which way I like it, but because the crooked layer I chose has those horizontal lines, it was really throwing my eye off that the photos, when I tried to keep them straight with the background, it just made it look a little bit too crooked. So I think keeping the photos and all that in line with the horizontal lines and just having kind of all of this be slightly crooked on the background is actually less wonky on my eyes. So that's kind of what I decided. Right now I'm going through all my scraps and I'm trying to pull out colors from that brown background that I think coordinates. So a lot of the different blue tones, I'm trying to use some of the cut aparts. A lot of the cut aparts have some gold foiling on it. So I'm thinking, okay, if I'm pulling in this gold foiling, I need to make sure that's balanced as well. So you'll see me pull in kind of a gold scrap to use within my layers. So that's all I'm doing right now, is just going through the scraps that I've accumulated so far with this paper pad and just trying to figure out what I think will work. I really like the navy colors that I have in my scraps. I really want to pull out all those blue tones in the brown floral. So these two little navy scraps I'm going to glue on the top and bottom of my photo as my first layer. So hopefully that just looks like a nice, navy rectangle that's layered up behind those photos. And I like the introduction of the navy. And now I'm just going to go through. I really wanted to use this cut apart piece. I didn't really care for the sentiment on it. Those cut apart pieces that are like 6x6, it's a really hard proportion for me to use as is on a 12x12 page. So I just decided to cover up the sentiment. I'm sure I could have gutted it, but I wasn't too sure if I was going to use it. And I have another one of these still in the paper pad. So I just decided to cover it up and just use that kind of lighter blue as my next layer. So once I get these two little strips glued down, I'll play along with that. But yeah, I hope you guys are all doing well. I feel like I haven't scrapbooked in forever. I took several weeks off. I just haven't been feeling it. There's been, I keep saying I'm like busy, but I don't know that I'm any more busy than I normally am. I just have not been in the scrap room. So my free time has been more spent with Marcus or reading or Franklin or Marcus. I know last month at one point I told you guys Marcus had bought me that new Harry Potter game. So that sucked up a ton of time as I was kind of playing that game, which is awesome, by the way. I love it. I've played through it almost twice now. But then he also bought me the Beat Saber game on his VR headset, which is really fun because it's like a dancing game kind of. If you or your kids ever played Guitar Hero, it's kind of like that, but you kind of have these lightsabers that you hit the notes with as they come at you, and it's a lot of fun. So I've been doing that as well, and spending a lot of time with like my sister and my mom and stuff. So I just haven't been scrapbooking, and I feel like I need to do something this month because I don't have a kit. And when I remembered, or realized I should say, that it was International Scrapbooking Weekend, I was like, okay, I have got to get in my room and I've got to make some pages. So this is number one, and I decided I'd go ahead and edit in voiceover because I haven't had a video posted in a minute. And then that way it'll give you guys, hopefully you can give me some recommendations for some more challenges to play along with this weekend. So that's the goal. You see I'm pulling in a couple more cut apart pieces. I have these tags. I didn't like the lower part of this tag, but I really like that kind of minty blue towards the top. So I thought I would just use that piece as part of the embellishment cluster towards the top. So I really like that. Again, that has the gold foiling on it. So that kind of prompted me to pull in a gold foiled floral from my scraps to add that to my other layers. But I'm really liking all the tone on tone blue. So I'm just going to keep rolling with that. I really like this paper pad. I know I've already said that, but I do struggle with it because other than the cut aparts that are in it, I don't have any embellishment for it. And I just wasn't feeling like going through all my stash to find stuff. So I kind of used what was on my desk already. I still had some of that Simple Stories antique looking chipboard. So you'll see me pull that in a little bit. And yeah, I just always struggle when I don't actually have a kit for the month. I really enjoy it because it allows me to go through my stash and use stuff I haven't used in a while. But not having a full kit is difficult because I don't have that coordinating embellishment and all the things that make it really easy for me to do my layers and my clusters. So it's always a process trying to make these pages feel done to me when I don't have a lot of stuff I normally like to use. But here's that gold layer. I just wanted a little bit of gold down there just to balance the gold I started pulling in. So I'm going to get that piece down, and then I'm actually going to use another scrap of that gold at the top. I really want to balance these colors, so even though there is some gold at the top, I wanted this actual gold and white floral up there too. So I'll pull that up there. There's this cut apart banner here. I think it says thankful. I really like the color of it, and it also included that gold. So I was really thinking about using that down here. I'm even popping it up on some foam so it has a little bit of dimension. But as I continue to try to layer and figure out what else I want to add, I end up switching that out for something else. But I'm going to go ahead and keep it in because this is part of the process. trying things out and then changing your mind 100 times. So just getting some foam backing on that. I do really like how it looks, but I think you'll see once I start adding more layers and different stuff why I switch it out. But I'm going to go ahead and pretend that's going to stay there, and I do like it. I just feel like I found something better. So playing around again with the slant. I keep trying to keep my photos square with the brown background, but it just throws my eye that it's crooked on the line paper that's also crooked on the background. So straightening it all up with the lines just made it a lot easier. Here's that scrap of gold I'm going to add to the top. And now I'm trying to figure out, I feel like I need another scrap, another color in the blue family. I'm going through all my scraps here trying to find some like navy, but none of the navy I have in my scraps or cut aparts are kind of the size or the color that I need. So I actually will go back to the paper pad. I love, well, here's the chipboard from that Antique collection. I really wanted to pull in some yellow now that I'm pulling in gold. So this Breathe and Go Slow chipboard I really like. There's a yellow floral and some kind of minty colored hearts. This little brown leatherish looking piece that says the best ever. I'm going to go ahead and pull these out because I just wanted a different texture and I wanted to get some embellishment on here that wasn't just the cut apart paper. So I did stop to kind of figure that out. I really want to use this Breathe and Go Slow piece. I play around and the other stuff kind of moves around a lot, but I know for sure I want to use that yellow piece. So I thought about using it at the top, and then I end up moving it down towards the photo. I really like how the cluster is looking up there though, so I'm going to go ahead and glue down those pieces. But yeah, I'm really wanting like a navy colored long skinny strip that I can use in some layers or do a border punch on. So that's what I was looking for when I was going through all the scraps, and I actually end up going back to the paper pad because this paper pad has branding strips that are also in all of those colors, and I knew I had some branding strips still in there that were the color I needed. So that's why I love when manufacturers make their branding strips usable, and especially when they don't have the hole punch through the middle of the branding strip. I get why they do that because they have to hang the paper pad on the wall too in the stores, but this one did not have the hole punch, so I appreciate that because I can use the entire branding strip without having to work around the hole punch. So playing around with the chipboard a little bit. I really like this little floral stamp. I really tried to use this yellow flower because I figured I'm using the little yellow Breathe and Go Slow piece, so I wanted to really try to get the yellow floral used as well. But it just, things move around until I figure out what I want to do. I'm going to leave them here for a while until I kind of decide. But I think I am going to go for the branding strips here in a second. So I really wanted to use that little stamp too. It doesn't make it. Yeah, this piece moves around a lot too. That actually ends up going on the upper left part of the photo, and I like that. It kind of makes this photo cluster reach up towards the cluster in the upper left corner. I just think it helps connect it a little bit. I don't know, something about like the horizontal gold floral strip at the top and then this yellow chipboard piece, just, I don't know, it makes my eye happy. And then I like this little minty chipboard heart that's going to go with that. So I guess I'm going to go ahead and commit. I decided I definitely want to keep the photos in line with the lined paper. So I'm going to go ahead and glue this down. And I think I'm going to go ahead and glue down the chipboard too, because I know where those two pieces for sure are going. The other ones will still move around a little bit. But I like the positioning so far, and once I decided how to keep this lined up, I'm going to go ahead and stick it down. So got that down. And then I'm trying to think about what I do next. I kind of wondered for a while if I wanted to do a title with like foam alphas. In the end, I decided I like the Breathe and Go Slow. I feel like if I tried to add a title somewhere, it would have competed with that. And then I also was like, I could do journaling. It would be really easy on this layout because I have these horizontal lines. I could just journal straight on. But then I was like, I feel like the photos are pretty self-explanatory. Marcus went through like a hyperfixation with wanting to mountain bike. So he got a nice mountain bike and kind of all the accessories, and he did it for a while. And then I think he had some kind of accident where he was like, okay, I can't get injured on the bike because I still have to work. So kind of stopped riding his bike for a while. But I still wanted to document this because it was still kind of a phase he went through, and he's so handsome. I was really happy when he went through his bike phase because he got to kind of get out and bike in the woods, and he went to these bike parks that had really cool trails and stuff. So I know that was really fun for him. But here's the branding strip I finally went and dragged out. I really wanted kind of one of the darker blue colors, so I liked this kind of tone-on-tone blue polka dot. And now I'm just trying to find my favorite border punch, which is my notebook edge punch. And I'm just going to punch a decorative edge into that. I really needed a dark blue layer in that upper left-hand corner. The mint and the gold were just looking too floaty. It kind of needed a darker blue color to ground them. I don't know if that makes sense, but I'm going to go ahead and do the notebook edge punch. And I love what that adds to the cluster up there. I think it changed the whole look of that area. And then after I did that, that's kind of when I realized like, oh, I kind of want to use that element down by the photo too, because I liked it so much. So I'm trying to figure out how long I want this piece. But yeah, I like that a lot. So I'm going to trim it to the size I need and get that stuck down. And I think that kind of balanced the colors, like the issue I was having with needing a darker blue up there. So there's that piece. I probably should have just used liquid glue to glue down this little skinny piece, but I go through the process of tearing my double-sided tape into like 3 skinny strips to fit on there. I kind of was wondering if I should do the notebook edge punch up or down. I feel like it's more natural for the notebook edge punch to go up. I don't know, just because I think when I have a notepad with like the spiral at the top and I pull the paper out, they would naturally go that way. But for some reason, when I was laying it on this layout, it just looked better to my eye having the notebook edge punch go down. So that's how I left it. It's fine. So yeah, I'm kind of off screen trying to tear all this double-sided tape to get it down, but I don't think it takes me too much longer. I'm still trying to think about embellishment. I am glad that I could incorporate some of this chipboard, but I'm kind of feeling like the page is not going to feel done without something else. So I'm kind of trying to think about that in the back of my head as I'm putting this all together. I feel like it's been a lot longer than it has been for scrapping. So I don't know. It feels weird doing this again after so long, even though it hasn't really been that long. So got that together. I think I'm kind of realizing now that I do want to incorporate that into the photo area. I didn't want to use the same blue though, because I have that darker blue down there already. I needed a contrasting color. So I decided I wanted kind of the minty color of that tag at the top to be the notebook edge color for the photo. So I went back to the book and pulled out this lighter color. I'm going to do the same thing with the notebook edge punch, and that's what's going to replace that banner I popped up on some foam. I just like the repetition of having this notebook edge punch in each area and in opposite corners of the page. It just makes my design eye happy. So I switched that out. And that gives you a really good spot to continue to embellish if you're also going to like scrap lift the original. I really like how that kind of sets you up if you wanted to keep piling some more stuff on. But like I said, I just didn't really have embellishment for this paper pad. So I end up trying to keep it more clean and minimal. So I feel like the next couple pages, hopefully not, but like I feel like they're going to be more on the clean and simple side, just because I'm trying to get back into scrapping. But I'm trying to figure out again how long I want it. I'm just going to trim it to the size I want and get that glue down as well. And And then it's pretty much just trying to figure out what I think that finishing touch is going to be. I thought about maybe wood veneer, but I kind of felt like the raw wood veneer is almost, it would have been fine with this collection. I think it would have looked really nice. But I was just really liking this dark, rich brown with all of these shades of the blue, and I just didn't want to introduce like a lighter brown. And I wasn't really feeling like painting wood veneer because then I'd had to decide what color, and I just decided I would figure something else out. So I'm going to get this piece stuck down, and I end up going back to my tried and true, which is enamel dots. They're my favorite way to finish a page. So I struggled for a while trying to figure out what color enamel dots to use. I was trying to find like the perfect shade of blue, and they were kind of either too light or too dark. There's also like a mustardy yellow that I thought would be nice to kind of tie back to this Breathe and Go Slow piece. I did add this little leather brown, the best ever chipboard to the top, which I really like. It pulls in kind of more of that darker brown, unlike what the wood veneer would do. So I do add that up there, which is nice. I really wanted to get at least one more of the chipboard elements used up. So at least I got 3 of them on this page. But this is where I'm like, okay, I don't want to use any of the other chipboard elements. What else do I want to do? And I was like, I have to go with the wood veneer. So I'm going through my stash here, trying to find the perfect blue. You'll see me set out a bunch of sets, and I'm just realizing that no one color is really perfect, but I thought if I kind of used a couple of the colors together, then it would work really well, which I haven't done in a while. I used to like only do that when I used enamel dots, use like 2 or 3 different colors on a page, and then I started just kind of using the same color for all of my enamel dot clusters. So this is kind of a fun throwback, but I'm going to end up using a navy, kind of a aqua-y minty color, and then the yellow, and I think those 3 colors together look really nice. So I decided just to do 2 clusters. I kind of needed some embellishment in the lower right hand corner, so I'm going to do 1 cluster on the photo of just the bike next to the creek, and then I'll do the other cluster across the page underneath that upper left-hand cluster, and I feel like that really balances the page as well. But I love that pop of color and the shiny dimensional texture. I think it was kind of the perfect finishing piece, which is why I always go to these. I'm trying to decide which color I want, which size, and whatever, but I just end up going with 1 color of each in all the 3 different sizes to create this little cluster, and now I'm going to do the same to the top. So I'm always cognizant when I use these. I don't want to be left with just all of one size, so I'm trying to rotate which size I use of each color, so I'm not left with just, all the big enamel dots of the blue or all the small enamel dots of the yellow, because I really like using them all together. So this is kind of the combo I ended up going with, but we're pretty much done after this. I leave it. I feel like I could have kept going, but I was just happy with this as my first challenge layout. Please let me know what challenges you guys are playing with this weekend, because I'm really hoping to get a lot of scrapping done. Thank you guys so much for watching. Happy International Scrapbooking Day / weekend. The close-ups are here in a minute, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.